Street Biashara. It's time for a learning lesson looking at business terms. Now, as you can see, I am on the streets of Nairobi trying to find out what exactly Kenyans understand with the term debit, and I'm very excited to see what interesting answers you have in store today.
Debit? From my business classes, I think debit is money in or money out.
Debit is the quantity that you have to pay in your business. It's like you have credit, and this is the quantity that you have to pay. I think so.
Debit. Deni. Inamaanisha deni.
Debit to me in business means money that I have for bills.
Okay.
Whenever I spend on my business, that's a debit from my account.
Debit is the money that comes to my account.
No, really. Please tell me.
You want to give me a guess?
No. I really don't know.
I think debit is when money is removed from your account. That's debit.
That's the balance, the money you are supposed to pay when you have a problem.
Okay.
You have not finished the money you borrowed, you have to pay back.
You know, I always get interesting answers when I go out to the streets of Nairobi and ask you these business terms. And let me tell you, Kenyans make me very, very happy when I hear their answers. We went out to ask individuals what debit is, and we got some interesting answers. But now we're back in studio. We have an expert who's going to break it down for us so we can clearly understand what this term means. And the individual joining us is the one and only George Munga, who's the managing partner of AMG Kenya, as well as a tax expert. Thank you once again for joining me on Street Biashara. I'll just jump right into the question, and you break down for us what debit is.
In a strict business sense, and I want to clarify that the difference between debit and a debt. A debt is money for other parties. For example, if I pay you money, then I have that debt to you. But debit, in an accounting sense, is monies that go out of my business. For example, paying my salaries at the end of the month, then it is a debit into my business. So any money flowing out of my business is a debit to me. Any money flowing into my business is a credit to me. So the two must be separated. A debt and a debit. A debt is monies that I owe to third parties, but debit are monies that are flowing out of my business.
Okay. And what does it mean when a business or a company has bad debit?
When a company has a bad, let me call it bad debts, and I'll differentiate that. When a company says they have bad debts, meaning there are their customers who are not able to pay them, meaning they gave value to a third party or a customer, but that customer is not able to pay them. That is a bad debt. You get my point? Yes. Then there is the debit. If your outflows are more than your inflows, then still we call that company insolvent. It cannot be able to pay all its obligations. So in that sense, we call it, we have a bad debit, or you have a bad profit and loss account.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying the difference between that. But when we move on to talking about debt and loan, a lot of people, some individuals will not know what the difference is. Do you care to just differentiate what a loan is and what a debt is for our layman individuals out there?
A loan in a strict sense is monies that you owe to financial institutions. Let me put it that way. But a debt is all the monies that you owe to any party other than yourself or your business. For example, if my employees have worked for me for the whole month and I will not pay them, that is a debt that I owe them. If a third party or a friend of mine gave me money and I have not paid them, that's a debt that I owe to him or to her. And then if somebody has supplied me goods and I have not paid them at the end of the credit period that they gave me, then that's still a debt to me. So a debt now envelope the entire monies that I owe to third parties, but a loan strictly means the sums of money that I owe to financial institutions.
Great, thank you for that explanation. I do hope individuals understand what debit is now when I do go out on the streets and ask them this question. Well, that ends our learning lesson for today, but make sure you join me on the next episode of Street Via Shara.